Hello and welcome to All About Cars, and on today's show we're going to talk about the brand new Thar. It's just been launched. We're also going to talk about the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe that's due for launch sometime this month. I'll also talk about a car that I drove this week, and finally we'll take some questions. So let's start with the all new Thar. It's been launched in three broad versions. You've got the AX, AXO and LX. You have two engine options. There's a petrol and a diesel. And when you move to LX, you can also buy the petrol and the diesel with an automatic gearbox. Now the AX is going to be a 6-seater, soft top, fixed soft top, factory fitted, and it will not be as well equipped, so you won't have all the fancy bits. It's also not going to get alloys, it's going to get steel wheels, and the focus for the AX clearly is off-roading ability. The LX is being positioned as a lifestyle vehicle, more for urban dwellers, so it's got all the fancy, comfortable bits, it's got a touchscreen system, it's got a hard top, front-facing seats, all of that come as standard. The LX, the prices, they start, for the AX version, they start at 9.8 and they go up to close to 13 lakhs, all ex-showroom for the top spec LX. Now, what do we think about the prices? I personally feel that the prices are a little steep. If Mahindra just wanted to leave Thar as a niche vehicle, I think these prices are great, right? So only the enthusiasts would want to buy it, the real hardcore guys who want the Thar. But my impression from the very start was that Mahindra wanted to broaden the appeal of the Thar. And the only way to do that was to make a car that would also entice a regular family people, and by that I mean there can be one person, can be the lady of the house or the man of the house or the father of the house or the mother of the house, deciding that okay, we need a car that would also take care of our adventurous needs, and then the rest of the family follows because it's like a regular car. Now that was achieved with the Thar to a great degree in terms of comfort and equipment and all of that. But it still wasn't exactly completely as a family car, right? I mean, having just 3 doors instead of 5 makes accessibility a problem. Every time somebody wants to get in at the back, the guy in the front needs to step out, so it's not very, very convenient. And we thought that that inconvenience of sorts could be offset by a really enticing price tag. So all the fence-sitters or people who said, okay, we want the Thar, but the family doesn't want it, but if it makes for a great value proposition, maybe I can convince them and they'll see value in it and they'll say, okay, let's go for it. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. Now, my expectation was that the prices would start maybe around 9. And then you would look at about, like 4-digit sales figures coming on month, not just at the start, because at the start there'll be like a tsunami of people wanting to buy it, right? Because there's pent-up demand. But what about a year from now or 2 years from now? So that's the sort of thing that I was hoping for. But clearly Mahindra believes differently. I think they have received a really positive response to the Thar, and they clearly feel that this pricing works. It justifies what the product is, and they will probably find like a whole bunch of buyers to go for it. It'll be interesting to see how that happens. I would place my bet on saying that it'll probably be a 3-digit car in terms of sales numbers, so I would call it a relative success, not a fantastic success. But we'll talk about that maybe 6 months down the line to see whether they got it right, or am I just I probably didn't get the right perspective there. But as a product, like we've reviewed it in the past, it's a lovely thing to have. I personally wanted one. Now it's priced out of my budget, but if you like the Thar, if you like the way it looks, if you like what it promises to be, just go for it. Like I said in the review that we did, you could find the link for it somewhere here, that if you're a family of 2, 3 or even 4, go for it. I mean, if you've got some adventurous streak in you, the Thar will work. It works on the road, it works for commuting, it works on the highway, and of course it works off-road. So that was the Thar for you. Not very excited about the prices, but not exorbitantly priced either is the Thar. Now let's talk about the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe. It should be launched mid of this month. It will go up against the Mercedes A Class Limousine, not the CLA anymore, the limousine. So you've got a flatter roof, which means better headroom. We will hear prices for that also soon. I mean, Mercedes is working towards that. Both these cars should be priced between 35 to 40 lakh rupees. Both will be offered with a diesel and a petrol engine. Both will only come with an automatic gearbox. Now the 2 Series Gran Coupe, it's not really a rear-wheel drive car anymore, it's a front-wheel drive car, and we will probably get the S-Drive versions, which is front-wheel drive, not the X-Drive, which is all-wheel drive. Given the cost, we should get 2-liter engines, both diesel and petrol. Same that you get on the X1, for instance. We'll get the same drivetrains here, and I think it'll sit parallel to the X1. So if you want an SUV, take the X1. If you like something that's more stylish with the frameless doors, go for the 2 Series. So it should be interesting when it's launched, what sort of demand it generates. Would it bring back some pull to the sedan class? It'll be great to see. Now let's talk about the car that I drove. So I drove the new Kia Sonet this week. I had driven it during the launch but for a little bit, and now we've got one on a long term, so I spent some time driving that. We have the diesel. We've got a manual diesel, not the VGT, but the regular geometry turbocharger. And there's a whole list of things that I like about the car. I like the way it looks. I think they've done a great job in differentiating it against the Hyundai Venue on which it is based. So when you step inside, there's a clear step up in terms of how the interiors look and feel. There's that bit of more premiumness that you can see in the Sonet now. It's well equipped. It's very easy to drive. You've got high seating. You've got great visibility. And it's also good to drive. So it responds to your inputs really well. The gear shifts are crisp, the throttle response is nice, the clutch is light, and overall it's a car that you drive and you like instantly. So I really liked spending time driving it. If I were to say that what it's missing to an extent, at least for me, I would say that the ride could be a little quieter. And I also think that it's a little unsettled, especially when the going gets a little worse. I mean, if it's really tiny bumps and crests and ditches, I think it's fine. But anything a little more pronounced, and it doesn't feel as refined anymore. Then, of course, it's essentially a 4-seater. The shoulder room at the back isn't great, so if you're looking for a comfortable 5-seater, then the Sonet might not be the one for you. But overall, as a car, I think it's great, and we're already seeing sales figures. They've done 8,000 plus cars this month, previous month, and it wasn't even on sale throughout the month. So a good car, good response to that, and it was a nice week driving that. Now, let's take some of your questions. So our first question comes from Krushit, and he's asking us, he's done a lot of groundwork, and then he's finally decided on 2 SUV options. He's asked us whether he should go for the Vitara Brezza or the Mahindra XUV 300. He's a little confused in choosing which is the right variant between the 2 cars or of the 2 cars as well. And he wants a vehicle that costs under 12 lakhs on the road. So our suggestion would be, I think it's what you want. The XUV 300 is definitely nicer to drive, or is more driver focused. It's also good on space on the inside apart from the boot. The boot's really tiny, but it's got a turbocharged petrol engine, 1.2. It makes a little more horsepower than the Brezza. Brezza is a naturally aspirated 1.5. The XUV also makes more torque compared to the Brezza. And handling wise, though, they're pretty similar. I would say the XUV's also got like discs all around, so braking's better. And we've seen good safety crash test ratings for the XUV 300 as well. So it is definitely the car that you should go for if you like driving. But if you want a more practical car, then I would say the Brezza makes sense, because it's more, it's got a larger tank. The fuel efficiency wise, they're similar. It's got a bigger boot, and you've got a much wider service network to cater or to help you out when the need comes. So practicality, Brezza. Love driving, XUV 300. Next, we've got Algonrod31, and he's asking us, is there a possibility of a new Swift launch during Diwali? By new, I don't know what you mean, like a facelift, maybe not, maybe some special editions. I'm sure Maruti would work something towards that, though I don't have news of that. And if you're thinking about an all-new generation car, well, that's not going to happen for the next 2 years at least, because the Swift isn't that old a car. I hope that answers the question that you asked. Next up, we have a question that says that without electronic stability control, without ESP, which is essentially the same thing, and without brake assist in lower variants for the Sonet, like HTK and HTX, is it worth going for? So the thing is that when there are more safety features, you got to pay for it, right? Is it good to have stability program? Of course. Is it good to have brake assist? Yes. But does the car feel a lot worse off without these features? Not really. And if you stick to speed limits that are there, I don't think it should be a problem. If you drive like you're supposed to, instead of trying to set lap times on the road, I don't think it's so much of a concern. Stability program really works well on slippery surfaces, if you get it wrong, you know, like enter into a corner too hard, or don't know what's there and make quick steering maneuvers to avoid something. So yes, it is a really helpful aid to have, but it's not like if you don't have that, you shouldn't buy the car or the car is any inferior. You can definitely go for lower versions of the Sonet in terms of crash test ratings or the way the body's been built and the crash zones, etc. I think it should be fine. Next up, somebody's asking us, when is Genesis coming to India? We should see, now Genesis is the more premium brand of Hyundai, and they have a bunch of cars. They have a brand new SUV that's come out internationally. I've seen those cars, and given the price premium that they'll demand, and they would compete against the likes of the Mercs and the BMWs and the Audis. Maybe the sedans might not be a great option because these are old cars now, but the SUV, I think it's the GV70, that would be a great car to bring in and build that image. Will Hyundai do that? We're not very clear on that, but if it does, then we'll probably see that car only next year. Follow up on more Hyundai questions, and we have somebody asking, will the brand new Hyundai Tucson come to India this year? And he's also asking whether the Hyundai Sonata will come to India this year. So we don't think, now the Tucson has just been launched, and yes, it's the older version, it's not the brand new, new generation car. And we don't see these cars coming into India this year. Definitely they're not coming. Next year also, it's very unlikely, but we'll see how it goes. I think the whole COVID situation has delayed the plans for manufacturers and how they want to approach it. They would look at profitable business, they would look at consolidation instead of spending more money, because the moment you bring in a new brand, a new cars, you got to spend a lot of money to build a hype around it. Is Hyundai ready to do that? We're not sure just yet, but this year is a definite no. Next year, we'll see. And now let's take some questions that we've got on YouTube on All About Cars we did last week. We've got a good response, so thank you so much for that, and thank you for your questions. Vamshi S asks us, between the Honda WRV, Kia Sonet and Vitara Brezza / Urban Cruiser, essentially same cars, different badges, what should he go for? He's looking for a reliable engine with low maintenance. So reliable engine and low maintenance is something that you will get on all these cars. I don't think there's any question on quality of drivetrains in any of the three cars that you've listed. Out of the three, we'd say that if you want a bigger boot and seating for three at the back, go for the Brezza. Or otherwise, like I just spoke a little while back, the Sonet is a great car to drive. If you like driving, if you're only looking for seating for 4 people, then the Sonet might be a good option. The WRVs now started to feel a little old in the tooth compared to the Kia Sonet. Not so much compared to the Brezza, because that shape also hasn't changed. But if you like, if you've had a good experience with Honda, like many people have, then WRV is also a good option. But if I were to pick, I'd pick the Sonet purely on being a brand new product and of course good to drive. So yeah, that's that. We've got Rinash Hamid, who is asking us that should he go for the Skoda Rider. He's asking, his concern is essentially after sale service. So I think Skoda has taken significant steps to improve the service end, and I have a friend who's had a Rapid for a while and he swears by the service. Maybe he's not the majority, but we have cases, so it's not like everybody's having an awful service experience, and probably it's in the past because Skoda has told us repeatedly, and we're getting less and less inputs from readers and viewers like you that Skoda service is bad now, so probably it's not so much of a concern. Plus they have great packages that you can go for, and as a car the Rapid's a nice car to drive and safe and comfortable, so go for it, sure. We've got another question from LG TV Webos. There is no name to that, but thank you for writing in. He's mentioning that the Creta is overpriced, close to 18 lakhs for the top of the line version, because you get so much more in the Innova in terms of the Toyota badge, spacious interiors and a 6-seater. So again, it's down to what you want from the car. If you want utility, now Innova is a body on ladder frame, it's sturdy, it's great for utility. You want to carry people, you want to move them around, you want to do long distances, you want to take on rough terrain, Innova works, right? And when you want to sell it, great brand recall, so you get a lot of money back. Creta, again, great brand recall, lots, the resale is again very high, but it's a completely different take. It's a more urban car, it's a more comfortable car, it's more, you know, like a tech fest in that sense. So I don't think it's overpriced, though a lesser price is always welcome. But I wouldn't say that just because Innova's got like, you know, seat 6 and it's got more space because it's longer, that it can command a value and the Creta can't. I think the two cars are very different in their outlook, and you have to decide what you want in that sense. So if you're an urban dweller, maybe the Innova is a little cumbersome, and if you like going out and you're a little adventurous, then of course the Creta will feel a little fragile in that sense compared to the Innova. I hope that answers your question. Next up, we've got Praveen Raj, and he wants to know, he actually wants to buy a car between 7 to 7.5 lakhs on the road, and he'd been waiting for the Kia Sonet, but the thing is that he wants a proper 5-seater, and we all know the Kia Sonet, like the Hyundai Venue, isn't exactly a proper 5-seater. So irrespective, so he further says that irrespective of hatchback or sedan or compact SUV, which is the one I should go for? Now, we'd say that you can go for the lower versions of any of the compact SUVs, be it the Nexon or the Brezza. They can comfortably seat 5. You can also look at the XUV 300. Again, it can comfortably seat 5, but boot space on the 300 might be slightly, there might be an issue there. But these are the things that you could look for. And if you're looking for seating for 5 people, we would recommend go for an SUV. I think it's a more practical choice for loading people and moving around than, let's say, a hatchback or a sedan. So yeah, these are the 3 options. Drive them back to back, see which you like. Next up, we've got Akshay Hazare, and he says that he wants to buy the Elite i20 Sports Plus this month. And do we recommend anything better? I think the only thing that you should be aware about is that there is a new Hyundai i20 coming, a complete generation change. Is there a better alternative to the i20? It depends on what you're looking for, but as a car, I think even the existing i20 is a lovely option to go for. But the new one's coming, so you need to decide whether you want to wait for the new one or go for this one. If you're going for this one, then haggle with your dealer, get a good discount. You should be able to get it. Everybody knows that it's on its way out. And if you don't get a good deal, then wait for it. Wait for the new i20. It'll be a little more expensive than this one, but there are also chances that this one would coexist with the new one, and we might see a price revision. We saw that happen with the Grand i10 and the Neos. No reason it shouldn't happen with the Elite i20 and the new i20. So If you get a good discount, buy it now. If not, just wait. Something better will happen. Good things come to people who wait. And that's a wrap on All About Cars. Thank you for watching. Thank you for writing in lots of questions this week. We enjoyed answering those questions, reading those questions, understanding your needs, because that's what motivates us to do more. So continue to write in and do subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know when our new videos coming in. We've got quite a few new reviews coming up weekly, so watch out for those. And comment and share, and do let us know how we did this week. Thank you for watching.